many years back somebody told me that do not run aground, do not collide, and that is navigation. But today, after so many accidents and incidents, companies have come up with so much literature on navigation. Hold on, I think this is not appropriate. In this video, I'm not gonna talk anything what you guys learn in your institutes and on your simulators, what navigation training. I'm only gonna talk about my experience, and it is just my opinion. I think this is again not appropriate. This is much better. This video we're talking about why navigation is not so difficult today and how can we make it easier. I am captain. My passion is sea, sailing and ships. I love my job as a master. I make vlogs in my free time to spread happiness and a healthy lifestyle. Nowadays we don't have paper charts, so you don't have to run around back and forth, from wheelhouse to chart room to see your position. Nowadays when you have ECDIS, you have real-time position and you have everything available in the wheelhouse. That has made navigation very easy because you all the time know where you are. With paper charts, we didn't have option to remove any layers or remove or add any information. With this ECDIS vector charts, we have that information. But I have seen very rarely people removing some layers from the ECDIS. What they do is they just keep all the layers on and do navigation on it. Then the data is cluttered. Heavy traffic area, you would think that the screen is also occupied and you have no space in it. But what I like to do, or what is preferred, that you remove some layers which are not required. Like if you are in deep waters and your draft is not very high and depth is really not a concern for you, you can probably remove this layer which has sounding in it. We have these modern sophisticated navigation equipments available these days in the wheelhouse or on the bridge. DGPS will give you an accuracy of almost 3 meters here and there, and they are very accurate in your positions. And not only that, you have backup of GPS available with you. Radars are so good these days. I'll tell you one example. Once it was calm seas and we were just coming out of the port, and my radar, it was very well tuned and it could detect even the birds sitting over the water. Of course it was calm seas, but even those birds were detected on the radar. So that tells you how good these days equipments are. Okay, equipment is good, but I don't like to use these overlays, putting radar onto ECDIS overlay. I look at radar as a radar and ECDIS as ECDIS. What I do is I have AIS targets only on my ECDIS, and I do not have that on my radar. Radar, I acquire them as a radar target because AIS can have errors in it. AIS can be wrong depending upon the other ships. The data is coming from the other ship. But radar, when you acquire a target, nothing can go wrong in that. It is just range and bearing from your scanner. So if you look at radar, visual outside and ECDIS separately, and spend maximum time looking outside, then on the radar, and lastly on the ECDIS, it will make your navigation very easy. The optimum use of equipments and minimum communication. When I say that minimum communication, I mean the minimum communication on VHF or on the UHF. Of course, on the bridge with duty officer, you always have very good communication back and forth going on. So during berthing and unberthing, I have seen every small information is being asked from the bridge. I don't like to do that. Bridge wing, we always have indicators of your steering and your engine RPMs. So you can check that yourself. What it does is it minimize the communication and minimize the distraction duty officer can have. He can only concentrate on your position and your depth data and the things which are required. I have still seen some masters and some pilot asking course every 10 degrees when we are doing an alteration. Now this course in earlier days was not readily available everywhere, but now with ECDIS, radar and heading indicator, you have that information available with you. And as a master or as a pilot, you yourself supposed to verify what course we are going to do, what steering we are doing, and what is the engine RPM. So it's better to see that yourself. Now I have seen the moment you have confined waters and the moment you have little bit of traffic, I have seen people switching on to hand steering. Now okay, hand steering is good because when the vessel is on hand steering, you can easily alter the ship's course whichever way you want, whereas autopilot takes time to alter the ship. The thing is, even if you are in pilotage waters and there is sufficient depth and room, you can always use the autopilot because autopilot is accurate. The idea behind is that I don't want to tire my duty AB who's steering on a straight course where it's actually not needed. Autopilots are very accurate and you can always set an alarm of few degrees, and if you set it on adapt confined mode, it really steers within 0.5 degrees of a course. So it is very accurate. You can keep a check on it. Your duty AV can be utilized for other things like keeping lookout and reporting other buoys and targets like that. And definitely use him on hand steering when you actually need to alter the course and when you have really close traffic with you. If any of you have sailed in Baltic pilots use it, use steering on autopilot, and they prefer autopilot because it is mostly straight courses. Whenever they have to do large alterations, that is the time they switch back to hand steering. So of course it is personal choice. I'm just saying my opinion, how I find it safe. My idea is to utilize the human resource which we have available on bridge to its maximum potential and utilize them when it's actually needed and let them rest when it's not required. Point number 4, which makes navigation easy today, is the very high knowledgeable officers coming. Very high standards of simulator training for these officers. They already have very good knowledge and experience gained on the simulators. As well, these simulators are as good as real ships. You can create any kind of scenario on these simulators, and they do a lot of courses like BTM, BRM. These officers coming to sea are already ready to take over from the first day, first watches. They have so much of experience already with them because of the high standard of training. Technology has come into fishing boats also and nets also. These days we have fishing boat nets having AIS. I mean, the net also detects on the AI as a AIS target, and fishing boat of course has AIS, so it is very easy to identify what target it is. Of course it is not applicable in all the areas, but waters of developed countries definitely have these kind of things. Nothing better than watch keeping hours. Spending a lot of time on bridge, gaining experience can make you more comfortable during navigation. Last but not the least, guys, whenever you think it is time to call master, that means it is time to call master. Never hesitate in calling master. Probably sometimes it's better to call him 10 times when he's not needed than that one time when he's actually needed to be on the bridge. Stay fit and Jai Hind. I'll see you on the next one. Nothing better than watch keeping hours and experience.